Hello everyone, welcome back. In previous session, we are discussing about the Linux environment and the Linux introduction. Due to some network fluctuation, I suddenly disconnected, and this is the continuation of that previous class. So we will discuss about the Linux file or Linux directory structure. Let me show you. This is the Windows environment. Windows environment. There are multiple drives are there, like C, D, so and so on. So in case of Linux environment, there is only one drive is there, and from there it will only one drive. And if you go inside the C drive, there are different folders are there. In similarly, in the Linux environment, there is only one drive, available, and from there there are different subdirectories are there in the same manner. So let me assume on that. We'll give you one example for that. So in Windows, we can call it as folders. In case of Linux environment, we can call it as a directories. In Windows, we can call it as folders. In Linux environment, we can call it as directories. That is the only difference. And assume you are using the company laptop. So if you are using any company laptop, there is only one drive. There is only one drive, that is C drive. Same we can say in Linux. Compared to the company laptop, same in the Linux environment, only one drive is there, that is C drive is there. From there, if you get inside the C drive, there are subdirectories are also is there. Let me discuss about the directory structure. So what it contains. See, I've given one example. So this is the directory structure, which is I have given the example. So what it contains. What is mean by directory and what are the subdirectories available in the Linux environment? Let me show you on this. Will clearly understand what it contains. Suppose if you are coming from the Windows environment, it is looks like for the Windows guys which, who are using the Windows environment, for them it is looks like a alien. That means they don't even know how to work on this and how to drive through all these subdirectories and directories. The file system hierarchy standards, FHS. What does that mean? FHS, file hierarchy standard, FHS. You can say FHS, file system file hierarchy or HY system. What does that mean? Defines the structure of the file system on Linux and other Unix-like operating system. And also it contains the some directories and that aren't yet defined by the standards. So let me talk about these directories, and I'm giving you one example. This is the directory. I'm just copying. I'm just pasting into somewhere else. So, okay, let me explain from here only. So what is the slash means? The root directory of the Linux operating system. Everything on your Linux system is located under the root directory known as the root. You can think of the directory as being similar to the Windows C drive as I explained earlier. See, you can think of it is similar like a C drive. And the Linux environment doesn't have any drives or letters, while another partition would be located at D on Windows. It don't have any of this kind of environment. So one by one I can explain the Linux environment. /bin, what it contains. /bin directory. It is the root directory. Root directory. And /bin is the essential by user binaries, which contains essential user binaries. What it means? Essential user binaries, that programs that must be present when the system is mounted in a single user mode. Suppose if you are doing anything like such as Firefox stored in user/bin, if you are doing downloading or installing in the application or programs that will be available in the /user/bin. In case of important system programs and utilities such as the bash shell are located in binary. That is all. It contains the libraries and binaries where they can access users. So I will give you few examples of this. Make mkdir, ls, cd, ps, etc. That means user can able to access the commands. And one more is there, sbin directory, similar to the binary. It contains the commands and files, but only the root user can able to access this bin directory. Indirectly, only the root user can able to access it. User cannot able to access. Normal user not able to access. I'll give you few examples. If config, reboot, shutdown, and etc. These are the commands only the root user can able to access. And next, device/device. You can say /device, which contains the device files. Linux exposes device files in the -dev environment, like -dev directory. Sorry, not in the environment directory. Number of special files that represent the devices. It is we can say it is not like a normal files. We can give some example. /dev/sda. So what it represents? The SATA drive. That means in the system wanted to do partition it, you would start partition editor and tell it to edit /dev sda. That means SATA hard drive. If you are looking at HDD hard disk drive in the Windows environment, similar way we can say that it is the SATA drive. etc directory. etc. What is this? etc directory contains all the configuration files. Configuration files, which can generally be edited by hand in text editor. Note that it is etc directory contains the system-wide configuration files, not the user-wise configuration files. It contains the system-wide configuration files. And there, if you say where the users can store it and configuration files, user can store their home directory. All the configurations will be stored in their user's home directory, not in the globally. That means system-wide configuration. Next one, slash home directory. Slash home directory. What it contains? Home folders. What is this home folders? For each user home folder. Each user home folder. What it will sorry. Each folder contains the user's data. And each user has right access to their own home folder and must obtain elevated permissions. That means become the root user to modify the other files on the system. Otherwise, it cannot able to allow to modify the user files. The next one is library slash library files. What is this library files? Essential shared libraries, which contains the all the binaries in a bin/bin folder and sbin folder. And if you required any libraries needed by the binaries in user binary folder are located in the user/binaries. Jar files, if any required things are for user libraries also there and shared libraries also there. The other one is opt directory. What we can say opt/opt. What it contains? Optional packages. We can say opt directory contains the subdirectories for the optional software packages, where you can suppose if you are downloading any software like Java, Jenkins, and Apache, you can download it from the opt directory, and from there we optional subdirectories for each package will be available. It is commonly used by the proprietary of the software that doesn't obey the standard file system hierarchy. The next one is the root/root. What is meant by slash root? Root user home directory or root home directory contains the root home directory. So this is the root user home directory or root directory. Instead of being located at /home/root, it is located at /root. This is the distinct from which is the system root directory. And there are some other also is there that is not too specific. Let me say example bootable. So static boot files, which contains the static boot files. The files which contains needed to boot the system. For example, grub boot, and Linux kernel are stored in the boot environment. This kind of stuff all stored into the /boot. So these are the Linux file structure or directory structure. So that's all guys today, and we will talk about Linux commands in the next class. We'll start Linux commands. For DevOps engineers, it must be required. Otherwise, you are not able to understand the DevOps environment, how they are going to do the build and deployments and all. So you have to know this Linux. Guys, this is more important. If you need any clarification, please send out an email or use the chat box in the channel. Let me say AWS tutorial. See, the beginning will show you. So there are, I clearly explain step by step everything in detail. You can look out. If you have any doubts and all, you can post using the chat box or comment section. I will clarify on the dots. So upcoming session we discuss about like once the Linux commands will over, and we will start about advanced concepts. Thank you.